Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we got to talk about the UK and a very specific inquiry from the House of Commons that I feel may have an effect on video games in that country. So just to be upfront, I'm in the United States, California to be more specific. I don't 100% understand the laws and rules and regulations in the UK, but I have been looking into a lot of things, and I find, there's a lot of weird, interesting stuff going on over there that a lot of people don't agree with. But at the same time, the UK is like a lot of other places. There are laws that are put into place that are very vague and just don't really benefit the citizens. It just kind of hurts them in the end. And, we have the same thing in the US. There's a lot of vagueness with specific rules and laws in different states, counties, cities, the country as a whole. So this is not a dig at the UK. There's nonsense going on everywhere. But I saw this very specific inquiry that I want to talk about today, and it had me thinking. So let's go ahead and take a look. If you go to the parliament.uk, they have this committee inquiries section where it's an open call for evidence where you could submit your dialogue that you want to, give them as evidence for whatever that specific inquiry is about. There's tons of them on here, but the one we're going to look at is the one that was just put up today. Gamers, the House of Commons needs your views. So I don't want to twist what's going on here. I'm just kind of thinking like this could lead to some kind of ban or different kinds of regulations with games, because if you really dig into stuff going on in the UK, I don't really want to get into details, but adult entertainment, videos, stuff like that, there has been tons of bans on very specific types of adult content. And a lot of people are pissed, a lot of people in that specific industry, citizens, definitely there's people on both sides of the fence. But when you look into those, regulations and bans, you're just like, what? Really? It's just starting to take away certain freedoms from people. And it's not just that. There's websites as well that have been blocked by ISPs in the UK by order of, Parliament and whatnot. That just doesn't make sense. It's a lot of things just get grouped together because of vagueness, and I think it does more harm than good in a sense. There's certain ways to regulate content from, minors especially, but, a lot of these rules and laws wind up affecting more than just minors. So that's why I wanted to talk about this. So we'll take a look at this specific inquiry, but this was just posted. Call for evidence from gamers. Is gaming harmful or helpful to society? So this is what they're asking you to take a look at. And you could submit your little essay or whatever. How does the design of a game keep you playing for longer? That's always something people are looking at, the addictive nature of gaming. So, the World Health Organization and a few other organizations I can't recall at this moment, they recently classified gaming addiction as a mental disorder, as a health problem. And, there's a lot of things that can go into that, insurance, medical insurance, the way things are treated and whatnot. And it's just kind of odd that this is coming up now, right after the World Health Organization and whoever else had met on that classification just very recently, just a few months ago. I know we spoke about that on the channel before, gaming addiction as a disorder, but it just kind of strikes me odd that they just met on that and now this is coming up. So let's continue. What help is needed for people who are concerned about the amount they are gaming? What responsibilities do game designers have to their players? Well, as far as addictive nature, I wouldn't think they really have any kind of responsibility in a sense. There's a responsibility not to scam their customers, not to, do all this craziness with pay to win and, the gambling type stuff with loot crates and whatnot. I feel there's a responsibility there for sure. But as far as, the addictive nature of games, anything can be addictive. I could be addicted to chewing on pens maybe, which I'm not, but, you could be addicted to anything. Should people who chew on pens, should pens be outlawed? No, it's just different qualities people have that will, have that addictive nature to something very specific. So I don't feel... I know that's not specifically what they're saying, but it kind of like right after that last question, it just kind of seems odd that they would say, what responsibilities do game designers have? And definitely, I'd say nothing to do with, the addictive nature, because they can't dictate that. Anybody could be addicted to their games or just dislike their games. Are young people disproportionately affected by the addictive qualities of games and apps? See, so it's like sandwiched right in the middle of two addictive questions, right? Are young people disproportionately affected by addictive qualities of games? I mean, there could be some truth to that for sure. But it also partially, I would believe, has to do with, parenting and upbringing and, not letting your kids play games for 12 hours a day. If you have them unruly kids who, they can't take no as an answer. Like, I mean, what are you doing with your kids, right? My kids play games, but they're restricted on amount of time they get to play them. We're a gaming household, but they don't sit on games all day long. They have other responsibilities. Once those responsibilities are done, once they're in the good, as long as they're not, on any kind of restriction for bad behavior or schoolwork, yeah, they could play games for a little bit, but not all damn day, right? So here's the next question. What makes the UK a world leader in gaming and VR, AR? So they're talking about virtual reality and augmented reality. And how can the industry be supported? That's an interesting question. I mean, for sure, there's a lot of awesome game developers in the UK who are doing amazing things. And I could for sure agree that, they do have some world-leading studios out there. And how can they be supported? By not putting in crazy-ass laws that restricted them from doing what they want to do, right? Next thing, the Digital Culture, Media, and Sport Committee needs gamers and young people to submit their views for a new inquiry they are running on immersive and addictive technologies. The committee wants to hear directly from people who have views and experience playing games or working in the games industry. So here's what I think with this, with any of these inquiries. Is it really going to be the gamers who put in their inquiries that shape what the parliament and what these committees want to do with it? Joe Schmo, who just loves playing Call of Duty, is he going to take the time and put in, his thoughts and whatnot on this? It's going to be the curmudgeons. It's going to be the grumpy people. The people who, look at it like this. When you look at reviews for a restaurant or a store, just any kind of store in general, who are the ones who are posting reviews? It's mostly the people with bad experiences, because people with bad experiences or a negative frame of mind concerning that viewpoint or concerning that specific thing, they're the most vocal. So I think with things like this, the results that they get, the information that they get could be misleading because, they're not requiring every citizen to fill this out. It's just people who feel inclined to do so. So you're going to get a lot of those people who just think, video games are the devil, who either exaggerate their claims or just, maybe they do have some legitimate things to say. I don't know. But typically with stuff like this, I just see those naysayers coming out, those Debbie Downers, those negative Nancys, the people who just hate games and think it's just so detrimental to society. Mankind is going to cease to exist because of video games. So those are the people who are going to be most vocal and screw things up for everybody, right? So they want written evidence to the inquiry, and you could, submit it through this website. No more than 3,000 words. That could still be pretty damn lengthy. Be in Word format with as little use of color or logos as possible. So I can't put in my thing, put in Madlittlepixel logo and highlight thing. I don't know, whatever. Have numbered paragraphs. So number your paragraphs, yo. Further information regarding submit, blah, 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 blah. So they have a bunch of notes on here. And I just wanted to speak on this because, worldwide, the UK, like I already stated, has a lot of awesome game designers. And if there were some specific regulations, like I said, there's been regulations and laws passed with other forms of entertainment in the UK that has, negatively affected those people working in those industries in that country, that could affect the rest of the world. It's just a given. If game developers in the UK have any kind of restrictions put on them, that's going to affect other people as well. So I'm not claiming that that is specifically what's going to happen with this inquiry, but when I see things like this, it just makes me wonder, what is this information that they want to gather? What is it going to be used for? Is it just to figure things out? No, they're not going to waste their time just reading people's, essays. They want to use this information for something, for some kind of cause. Why waste your time asking people to write 3,000 word essays and not use that information for something, not use that to shape what you want your regulations to be? That's why I looked at this and I just thought, you know what, this is going to lead to some pretty interesting and bad things in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't live in the UK. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just the feeling that I get. And if these developers in the UK, not just the customers, but the developers, if there's restrictions put on them, like I said, it's going to suck for plenty of other people, not just the people in the UK. It's definitely going to affect them worse if there's specific regulations on the kind of content that can be in games, the type of games that can be sold. So who knows, man? Just wanted to share my thoughts on this, make this known a little bit in case you're interested. Really do appreciate it. I have a pretty big audience in the UK when I look at my analytics, so why not talk about some UK stuff here and there? So really appreciate you guys stopping in, hanging out with me. Smash that like button, make sweet ass love to that notification bell. Unless that's restricted in the UK. If it is, don't do it. Don't do it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And with that said, guys, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom!